Hello, welcome to the Mediocre Takes podcast, the podcast where we share our mediocre takes on the shows and movies we watch. I'm Marco, and I'm here with my co-host Mel. How are you doing, Mel?
I bought slime.
Slay! Today we're talking about a Cartoon Network short film called Welcome to My Life. It is about a monster being interviewed about his life, and it's about him and his day at school.
Slay! Okay, yes, we are reviewing Welcome to My Life, which is a short film by Elizabeth Ito, which was released on the Cartoon Network YouTube channel in 2014. Okay, this film is a mockumentary, so we open up with some shots of the family going about their day. We get introduced to the main character, Douglas, and he's being interviewed. We switch to the parents being interviewed, and we get some B-roll of Doug's childhood. The parents talk about how Doug didn't seem to be that different, even though he's a monster, and how they didn't really see people like them back in the day, but it's become more common and tolerated nowadays. We cut to Doug's mom taking him to school. We get shots of him in class, and he's interviewed about one of them. During lunch, Doug points out that one of the other students looks like the human version of him, and the student overhears and gets triggered and challenges him to a fight after school. Doug talks about how some humans see being compared to monsters as a threat, and that it's difficult to deal with it on a daily basis. He then gets interviewed about how he ended up on the football team. After football practice, Doug keeps his helmet on and walks around the school with his friend to find the guy he's supposed to fight. Doug's friend recognizes the other student from church and talks to him. The student that was supposed to fight him apologizes, and they become friends.
So the main character says that his name is a rap name, and I literally cringed on the outside when he said that. Like, I put my hand over my mouth and wanted to scream because that's so cringy. Like, why would you do that? I found the whole family dynamic to be really sweet. Like, his mom and dad seem like really nice people. I think this is an okay metaphor for minority groups and how they are treated for being different. I think it could have been better because it felt a bit surface level, though I will admit I do not know how to make this better. I still think it's a good short film though. After I finished watching this, I actually kind of changed my mind and thought that was a decent short film. It's a shame that it's never going to become its own series. Does Cartoon Network still do short films?
Yes, but the last one they posted was in 2021.
Oh. I really would love more short films from Cartoon Network. I love the real life backgrounds in this short film. I feel like Gumball perfected this style, and I would have loved to see another show do that.
I love mockumentaries, and I feel like good ones don't get the recognition they deserve, excluding Air Wish Project and the first Paranormal Activity. If there's anything teen shows or movies have taught me, it's that writing dialogue that a normal human being would say IRL and making it sound authentic when it's not is hard. So when anyone can do it, even when it's just voice acting, 5 stars. I think especially the main character, his voice actor did a really good job of making his interviews sound actually authentic. I love the art style. I'm a huge fan of cartoon characters in real life spaces. It's one of the reasons why I love The Amazing World of Gumball so much. And to that, I also want to say, I love that they took pictures of a house that actually looks lived in. The clutter is something I feel like people always skip out on during set design, which sucks because it just adds this flair of authenticity and normalcy to it. The main character conflict in this film, fairly applicable to basically any marginalized group. When you're the other or the black sheep, depending on how the people around you were raised, you're probably going to meet people like the antagonist, where saying or doing anything that implies they're like you is an immediate threat to them. It wasn't a really deep metaphor or anything, but it is probably something that a minority child could watch and be like, I relate to that monster. So that's kind of fun to think about. And Doug is such a chill character. Just the way he speaks, he seems so calm. Even when he's talking about some of the struggles in his life, he just has this cool tone to him. Also, the way he accepts his fate so quickly, guess I'm gonna fight this guy. It's one of my favorite kind of characters, I think.
Overall, this is a really great short film. I just really wish we would get more short films online and on YouTube because they're kind of hard to find on YouTube. And we don't get many of them on YouTube. I like how it kind of looks like Gumball. Really great representation of minority groups. Well, a metaphor for minority groups, I guess.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Cartoon Network has a literal department meant to produce pilots and that they do release them on the internet, not just cable TV. There are a handful of iconic Cartoon Network cartoons that started off as like part of this pilot system. Infinity Train, which is a show we previously reviewed. If you haven't listened to it, you should.
We also reviewed the pilot, so check that one out too.
Oh, yes, we did. And even though overall not many of these shorts have been greenlit, it's fun to watch all the pilots and think, would Warner have merged with Discovery if Cartoon Network greenlit Pillywag's Mansion? All that being said, this was such a cute pilot. I feel like this totally could have been like a Saturday morning cartoon, and it totally would have fit with what Cartoon Network was at the time. And as I stated before, I love the mix of animation with real life. I really wish cartoons did that more. Welcome, everyone, to a little segment I like to call it the Mediocre Minute. This is a tiny little micro moment where me and Marco recommend books, comics, music, games, and more for you all to check out when we do not post for a month or 2 or 3. I don't know. Maybe we just feel real quirky for a while. My first recommendation is going to be Superman Smashes the Klan. It's a 3-part comic series. Pretty self-explanatory. It's literally classic Superman beating up the Ku Klux Klan. The comic talks a lot about how minorities, specifically Asian Americans, were treated back in the day. I think this was set in the 40s. Yeah, an Asian family is really integral to the story of Superman Smashes the Klan. Personally, don't know how well the family was written in the lens of an Asian American person, but I thought that it was written pretty good. I also love that it really goes back to Superman's roots, which is like beating up Nazis. So that was really fun. What is your recommendation this week, Marco?
My recommendation is Berry People by Sock Pop. So, fun fact about me, I love photography games. I do not like Pokemon Snap though for one reason, and that's that I do not like the fact that you don't get to move around and instead you're in this vehicle and you just get to move with the vehicle instead of like walking around by yourself. But Berry People is this short little video game about berry people and how you have to take photographs of 100 of these berry creatures, and if you get to a certain amount you get like a little secret ending. It's a really cute, really short photography game. It's only $3, so like check it out. I'm only an hour in. Really recommend you guys play it if you're looking for something like casual and cozy and something with a photography element in it. And that's everything, so goodbye.